A man named Vic is first seen at the opening of the film. He rides a bicycle and ultimately returns home. Sitting directly outside the home, his spouse, Melinda, is staring at him in awe. We learn that they have a little daughter in the following scene. Her mother yells at her inanely while she is listening to her favorite song. The man enters the room, where his spouse requests that he pick out an outfit for her. Afterwards, his spouse requests that he get her black shoes, which he gladly complies. In other words, this man essentially follows his wife's instructions. They attend a celebration, where he drinks beer and converses with pals with his spouse. Melinda recognizes Joe, an old friend, and strikes up a conversation with him, which his spouse, Vic, witnesses. Melinda doesn't take long to lead his friend into a secret area and begin kissing him. Vic is aware of what is happening. Despite their eye contact, Melinda is still able to indulge in her fantasy. If that wasn't enough, Melinda gains everyone's attention by dancing on top of a piano. Immediately after, she begins to play the piano and makes everyone happy. Vic laughs at her despite her strange behavior, as though nothing had happened. Joe speaks with Vic later that evening and expresses gratitude for allowing him to meet his wife, Melinda. Vic asks him to think of Martin McRae, a man who went missing recently. Vic tells him that he is the one who caused him to vanish. Vic tells Joe that if he keeps repeating the same error, it will be clear, even though Joe believes it to be a joke. Shortly after, Joe departs the premises. In the meantime, Melinda, Vic's wife, is not happy with what he did to her buddy. Later that evening, when Vic conversed with their babysitter, Melinda shows up at the kitchen bare-chested. Vic becomes agitated and tries to push her away, which infuriates Melinda to the point where she leaves. Melinda's behavior is revealed to be reckless and self-centered. Vic's other pastime is keeping snails as pets. A few days later, Vic gets together with his buddies and discovers that everyone is aware that he threatened Joe by making a joke about Martin McRae. Additionally, they clarify that Melinda is ill since she acts in such a public manner around Vic. When Melinda returns home, she finds out about this and instructs Vic to apologize to Joe. She asks him to supper on Friday night. Joe knocks on the door on Friday, and Vic answers him warmly. Vic responds to his anxious question by joking that Melinda isn't at home. Vic informs him later on that they will talk and eat some seafood. However, he discovers that Joe has a shellfish allergy. Melinda knew this for sure, but she chose not to inform Vic. Vic makes Joe a grilled cheese sandwich later at the table, and Melinda begins it too, seeming as though she's trying to irritate her husband. She instructs Vic to read her bedtime stories to her kid before sending her to bed. Following a bedtime tale, Vic subsequently finds Melinda and Joe enjoying themselves together. Later on, Joe anticipates an apology from Vic for making a joke about killing Martin McRae. Vic calls him an Uber and tells him that this was not a joke. Vic and Melinda are having a conversation with a writer while seated at a party one day. He makes jokes about Martin McRae and labels him a killer. Additionally, Vic dances with a different woman, sensing that Melinda is envious. Later, Vic compares herself to the women. She also tries to interact with Vic when he is operating a vehicle. Subsequently, when Vic and Melinda observe their daughter playing. When his bank calls him regarding Melinda's account, he finds out that she sent money to a pianist, and he begins to look into this individual more. He eventually meets someone who is incredibly attractive and skilled as a pianist. He also witnesses Melinda making out with him there. Vic greets Melinda at night and inquires as to her whereabouts. She appears to be somewhat inebriated. He sees the pianist strolling with flowers once more as he drives his daughter home. On the same day, those flowers are sitting in his house. He worries about his wife, Melinda, having an affair behind his back once more. Vic confronts her for her actions of staying away from home all night and defrauding him of his money. This woman is merely self-conscious and doesn't give a damn about his feelings, regardless of what he does. She even informs Vic that she and the pianist have a great sleep routine. Melinda invites the guy to their party the following week, and they even shake hands. He discovers his wife having an intimate relationship with another man once more. Melinda is so careless that she would do intimate things in front of his husband, too. As it begins to rain, everyone retreats indoors. They resume to enjoy the festivities. Melinda tries to check on the pianist, as he is nowhere to be found. She screams as she realizes he's dead in the pool. When they see this, everyone rushes outside to try to save him from the pool and give him a chance to recover, but sadly, nothing works. Melinda begins to accuse her husband Vic of the murder as the police begin their investigation. Officers begin questioning Vic about the apparent, but they did not notice anything strange during their conversation. Later on, he later asks Melinda if she is scared of him. She claims that because she is the reason he took their lives, she is not terrified. Vic imagines Melinda and another guy together later on when he is riding his bicycle. He also sees the flashes and him killing himself. They later extend an invitation to their pals to supper. He tells his friend to stop telling people that he is a killer. He is highly suspicious, and he and his wife Melinda would occasionally get together to talk about this topic. Vic noticed several cameras in his wife's car while out for a stroll one day. He notices his spouse seated next to a man identifying himself as a psychologist. Afterwards, he tells his friend's wife that he and Melinda hired a private investigator to look into him. It causes the pair to start yelling at one another. Vic discovers later on that she is seeing yet another man. Melinda's pal, Tommy, meets Vic one day. Melinda enters the home and gives Tony a hug as though he were her spouse. During their conversation, she also tells Vic that Tony was the first American she had slept with. Tony starts to blush and giggle at this. When Vic sees everything, he appears a little upset. Later on in the evening, they begin to savor the cuisine and listen to quality music. They begin to dance in front of Vic in a very indecent manner. Vic finds them in his bedroom upstairs as well. He sees that she is doing her usual things and they catch each other's eye. In a few days, Vic tells Tony that Melinda wants to meet him and make him sit inside his Jeep. He leads him to a location that is rather remote from the city. He questions him non-stop about Melinda and his past relationships. Afterwards, when they get out of the car, he throws a huge rock at him. Vic doesn't need much time to steal his life away. Just after that, he submerges himself in the sea with a large rock so that no one can see him drown. Following the event, he returns home content. The following day, they plan to have a picnic near the spot where he killed Tony. Later, he unintentionally discovers that the body is visible, floating above the river. He returns to the same location the following day to make up for his error. Melinda manages to find Tony's wallet within Vic's workspace. As Vic is attempting to push Tony's body into the river, a man appears out of nowhere. As he questions him about his behavior, he unexpectedly notices a hand emerging from the river. When the elderly man notices this, he begins to flee, with Vic riding after him on his bicycle. After a full minute of chasing, the elderly man is involved in an accident. When Vic returns home, the opening sequence of the film is shown to us. The film concludes with Melinda hiding Tony's identity from the authorities and putting his ID inside the fire.